Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you all always in a blessing of praise. My name is Engsha for Khrismaninda. It is a precious chance for me to be a presenter in this international seminar that has a theme, strategies for teaching listening. First of all, let's say thanks to our God who has given us guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy so we can attend to this seminar today. In this seminar, I would like to invite or welcome to Miss Devina Damuri, Welly, Ernanda, Sihombing, and Yolanda Andriany as our speaker today. Okay, based on our themes today, there is a quote. Now I will do nothing but listen from Walt Whitman's song for myself. And what you can learn in this unit are how to design meaningful listening activities for your English class. And the second one is asking questions to help students actively listen. Ideas for using audio recordings for listening activities. Okay, for the first material, we would like to invite Welly Ernanda Sihombing as our speaker today from Universitas Negeri Padang.
Okay, I will explain about what we can learn in this unit. There are three, and the first one is how to design meaningful listening activities for your English class. And the second one is asking questions to help students actively listen. And the last one is ideas for using audio recordings for listening activities. We continue to involving students in listening. When students are doing a listening activity in the classroom, there should be a reason for them to be listening. In case study 1, the teacher tries one approach to his class. You listen to many different things in your home language every day. Think back to your day so far. What have you listened to already? Maybe you have not some of the following. The first one, a weather report on the radio, a college at work talking about a new school policy, and the third one, a friend phones you to tell you why he is going to be late. For the example, case study 1, Mr. Khan tries the listen and draw activity. The activity was called listen and draw. The trainer told us to follow her instruction and draw what she said. She told us to draw a tree, 3 birds in the tree, 2 flowers under the tree, a sun on the left side. This was a great activity for helping my students to practice listening. The listen and draw activity in the case study is a simple activity that you can do with any age group and with many different pictures. This activity may help students to practice listening, help students practice language in context, involve all the students, can prepare the students for a reading from the textbook. And we continue about follow the step below and try using the activity in your classroom. Before class, choose a simple picture with a few objects that are simple to draw, like tables, chair, door, and so on. The second one is easy to describe and draw. And the third one, think about or write down the instruction that you will give to the student to draw the picture. And the fourth, tell them not to worry about how good their drawing is. And follow the steps below to try using the activity in your classroom. Read the first instruction and give students some time to draw. Repeat it again many times as you feel your student need. And the last one, after you have read the instruction, tell your student to compare their drawings. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you very much for Welly and Sihombing. The next material will be presented by Yolanda Andriany from Universitas Negeri Padang.
Okay, I will continue this presentation to the next part of this slide. The second part is asking questions to help students listen. Asking questions before students listen to something can also help them. It can, for the first, orient them for what they are going to listen to, and the second one is help them learn to pick out key or important words and to use these words to try to understand what is being said. And the third one is make them more interested in what they are listening to when they are trying to find out the answers to the questions while listening, so they are listening actively. In the case study second, Mr. Khan tries an activity to help students listening to a story from the textbook. In activity 2, so try in the classroom for helping students to listen for information. The following follow the steps below and try using it in your classroom. The first, choose a text from your textbooks and practice reading the paragraph aloud before the class. And third, in class, write the questions on the board, read the paragraph aloud, and tell your students to discuss the answers to the questions in pairs. And the last one is ask them to discuss in pairs what might happen next.
Okay, thanks to Yolanda Andriany. And the last material will be presented by Devina Damuri from Universitas Negeri Padang.
Hello everyone, I'm Devina Damuri from Universitas Negeri Padang. In this section, I want to explain to you about the using audio recording in developing your listening skill. So, I want to explain to you about the audio recording before. The audio recording is the tool that we use in listening process or listening activity in your classroom. And there are several listening activities that can do with students in your classes. The first one is recording tape from the radio on play on a tape recorder, and the next one is song play on tape recorder or a CD player. Third, song play on an MP3. For the audio recording made by teacher, student, or other people is such as your dialogue. You can record your dialogue and then you can give it to your classroom or your student. And the next one is the audiobook play on CD player and the audio recording download. And the last one is the recording that have been developed for learner of English. So here the case study 3 is about the listening to the news with Mrs. Singupta. So in this case, the first one, you can take your record first. So before you are going to your classroom, please take your record or your dialogue, and before you play the recording of the news, you ask your student what the latest news is. You can ask them this is English, but allow them to reply in any language. It can make your student feel comfortable when you are talking about the news item. So you can say you are going to listen some news item. For the moment, just listen and write down and how many news item you can get. So you play the audio recording. You know that it is difficult to listen a lot of English at one time, so keep it short and say to your student, is it okay forget it a little bit maybe. And then next you are note down some news item, so you can ask them for word in pair, compare how many items that they hear, so what is 2, 3, or maybe they get 4. So write down the topic of each news item. And next, you ask the student, because that they way all students get a chance to think and talk about what they hear. If I ask students one by one, only a few members of the class will participate. So you give your student few minutes to discuss and write down about the answer. Here the activity you can try into your classroom about the listening to the news. The first one is select an audio recording that is suitable for your student. And next, you can choose a recording that is short maybe, and listen to the audio recording before you going to the class. So write down some questions to ask your student about the pitch. You don't need many, 5 to 8 questions is fine. So in class, write question on the blackboard before the play the audio recording. This will get your student thinking about the topic. It will also help them to focus on key point and give them a reason for listening, and help them to find or to listen the specific information. Next, play the recording and then give your students some time. So the sometime, then your student discuss the question in pair in a group. And next, if your student need it, play the recording again. Then ask for the answer to the question. Remember that you can pause the recording wherever you like. This can be very useful for your student, or if your student having problem finding the answer to the question. And next, your student will probably find an activity like this quiet or challenging the first time they do it. So preparing your student before they listen will make it easier for them to follow it. Follow the step from the case study tree and introduce your student to the topic first before they listen. So you can introduce some the vocabulary that we'll hear, and then provide questions to give your student a reason for listening. If your student find difficult to suitable audio recording to use with your student, some tips you can follow it. If you are nervous about the using technology in your classroom, you can ask your practice by using them, using the equipment outside the classroom first, so they feel confident from you using it. And next, you could also ask for the help of another teacher who is good with technology if you are not very confident with yourself, or maybe you can ask your one of two students first, so the student can help you. Young people are often very good with technology, right? And next, Always make sure that you listen the audio recording before you play them into your classroom. So this ensure that the material is suitable for your student. And make sure that all of your students in your classroom can hear the audio recording, especially with the large group. And then the last is about play audio recording more than once. So the first time that students listen, they can try to understand about the general meaning, and the second time they can listen out for specific information. So I think enough for the using audio recording for developing your listening skill. I give it back to the moderator or the presenter.
Okay, thank you for all of our speakers today. So I will conclude the seminar today. As in this unit, you have learned about how you can devise activities that use resources creatively in order to support your students in developing their listening skills. In all these activities, it is important to think about how activity can be made accessible and meaningful to students. These listening activities should link to other activities in the textbook or events and experiences in your student's life. And the activities you will need to carefully listen to how to observe how your students respond so that you can intervene and direct and facilitate learning for all. Okay, that's all for this seminar today. Thank you for all the attention, and I hope all of material useful for me and all.